Mr. Davis, what are you up to at the moment?
Well, we started recording this late, not just because we both had to mentally recover from that episode of Dynamite, but also because I thought there's many segments I commit to and then want to drop right away. Where's the jam gone?
I was about to say spoons, jam, misheard lyrics.
To be fair, the misheard lyrics thing was not the pure segment that I imagined. It was where you enhanced the song by mishearing the lyrics, not just wacky misheard lyrics. That's been done to death by every other podcast. So, it's official. I've gone back through the last episode we recorded, and we're going to debut the WrestleTalk COVID rankings. Number 1, we've got Seth Amphetamines. Number 2, we've got Jay. Number 3, we've got Will. Ethan in 4th place, and Mary right at the bottom in 5th because she's just had a normal lockdown.
Wow. Okay. So are you ready for some more?
Yes.
How are you? Or as it's now being called, the COVID rankings? Because what started as quite a nice idea of just like, hey, let's all just chat to each other and see how we're getting on. Ollie wanted to turn it into a competition to see who has had the best lockdown.
I don't know, but surely people should get something. Did they get a shot at the championship when you're number 1? I don't know. I'll look at AEW and how they work their rankings into their storylines to see what to do.
Well, let's find out. Here comes Reese. Hello, Luke and Mr. Davis. I hope this email finds you well in these difficult times. In response to Luke's call for checking in, and just wanted to say that I've been better, but I am fine. Not going to pretend this year hasn't been hard, and it's caused me to fall back into a lot of tangents I had for the year. Wrestling training is at a stop. I struggle to go to the gym, and I only feel like, the only one wearing a mask in the place, and finding the energy to look at a better paid job is difficult when I'm sat at home at the same desk for 8 hours a day. But I am aware that I've been fortunate. The virus has not deeply affected any of my close friends or family, been able to work entirely from home in lockdown and without being furloughed. And I have stayed social between spending my lunch with my flatmate and interacting with friends over services such as Discord. Hope the rest of the WrestleTalk community is staying safe. Hopefully we'll all get through this and we can just call 2020 a write-off and reunite when it's safe to do so. Kind regards, Reese.
It's very nice from Reese. Glad to hear you've not been, negatively affected. Just seems like it's just boring, isn't it, after a while? So you are going joint last with Mary.
It's a taskmaster over here.
Just had, I'm writing notes as well. Just had a normal lockdown.
Will from London, Ontario, Canada. Best place. Great place, mate. Canada's amazing. This says, hey guys, I apologize for only sending emails that bring people down. I'm 2 for 2 after this one. And unfortunately, in the Vince voice, S word happens. As you may or may not remember, I emailed about 2 months ago about my dog. I had to rush her to ER for emergency intestinal surgery. She spent a week fighting pneumonia and barely made it. Well, we just got back from the vet. They did an x-ray on her mouth and they found a lump against a tooth. Still need to wait for the biopsy results, but the gut feeling is that it is cancerous. Poor thing can't catch a break. They said it's localized, so if they're right and it is cancerous, we have a better chance of beating it. Still not the best news I could have gotten. Other than being stressed out of my mind and very upset, I think that I'm doing okay mentally. Kept it together while talking to the vet and did not break down. Kept it together while talking to the vet, but then I did break down when I got into the car with her, so maybe not. I don't really know. Hopefully I can email back with some good news in a week or so, but we'll have to wait and see. If you think this email is too upsetting to read out, I understand. I've just been letting friends and family know, and I feel like you guys in the SWAF Nation fall into this mix. Cherish your loved ones, everyone. Will from London, Ontario.
That's very nice of you to share that with us. I think that should help as well, sharing it. Now, on hearing that, that now makes me feel bad to put a ranking as to how well your lockdown's gone. So
now you feel bad about it.
Now there's a new bit because you said you might email back with an update. So I'm just going to put that in pending.
Okay.
I'm gonna hope we get a better lockdown. This is about celebrating lockdown.
Does this also mean then that like Mary, who was at the bottom, or Reese have sort of like another chance to email in with something else, or have they already had their shot now?
No, that's a good point. I'm all about second chances. Go away, come up with a new gimmick,
really think about it.
Really think about you've got to look at lockdown from the best lens. Like, what did come out of it? More time with loved ones. I've got to be honest, that's not really going to fly with me. I need something more tangible. I need something like, you baked a sourdough loaf.
Mm-hmm.
At which point, I am number one. I've baked so many sourdough loaves.
The start of lockdown was just me and Ollie texting each other with pictures of things that we had baked. We became those people for a little while. Katie is up next, who says, hello, Luke and Mr. Davis. This year's been a really rough one for my mental health, but I was inspired to write after two things happened yesterday that reminded me how much you've helped these last several months. First, I was catching up on the Friday show and was reminded of the WrestleTalk dance punishment video, which was my very first introduction to you all. My husband brought me into wrestling in 2015, and the sheer fun of New Day made a dedicated fan of me. He also showed me the dance video early in lockdown. After seeing Mr. Davis's commitments and fun in that video, I made a similar impression and started watching WrestleTalk podcasts every day they came out. The second was seeing my end of year Spotify podcast summary highlighting WrestleTalk jumping up, taking the #1 spot as the undisputed tag team champions with a staggering 9,543 minutes listened to since April.
What? How many? So we do. Well, we've got an advantage in that we put out a lot of podcasts. So some
would say too many.
Really divide it by 4. And that's where a normal weekly podcast would fit in.
Katie, the wonderful content you create has been such a bright spot during this long year. I wanted to thank you for all that you do. Jam that jammy. Yes, please. That's from Katie. She's even sent, she listened to 139 episodes in total of the podcast.
Whoa.
9,543 minutes.
You, Kate, have just gone straight in at number 4. You are beneath Will, who got COVID, but he's now a Patreon and had a baby. And you're above Ethan, who, unconfirmed, is sleeping his way around Australia as a security guard.
We do actually have an update from Seth Amphetamines as well.
Do we?
Yeah. I just said,
do we want to recap on the Seth Amphetamine story so far?
I mean, maybe it's better out of context.
Well, I think he had all I've written down is he got rid of his LSD habit.
Yes.
But I think there are other components to it.
Anyway, crucially, that's the most important thing here, was that he was hooked on LSD. Anyway, so Seth continues, I've got a recommendation for Ollie. The Front Bottoms rendition of Christmas Rapping is a very good addition for a Christmas playlist. Also wanted to clear a few things up my email. While I'm not noob when it comes to the drug, I'm not on and have never been on amphetamines. That part is merely a pun for the name. So I wanted to say that LSD isn't physically addictive, but more psychologically addictive, like marijuana, in the sense that getting home Friday and tripping became the norm. Nevertheless, love you guys. Keep it up.
It's a routine thing. I get that with around 3:30 when I'm not doing the podcast. I just want to snuggle up and have a cup of chai tea with oat milk in.
For
some people, it's acid.
Oh, well, we don't have any more. I do think we have one more. Yeah, this one comes in from Finn, who says, hello, Mr. Davis, Luke Warman, all the other wonderful people at WrestleTalk. I've been to give an update on myself, and seeing as you made a special request for emails, it seemed like the perfect opportunity. Since my last email where I spoke about seeking therapy, I'm happy to report that I'm seeing my therapist less and less, not because of COVID or anything, because he felt I was making a lot of progress. 2020 has been really nice to me. In other news, I recently acquired a job which happens to be COVID related. I'm a COVID officer at my local secondary school, which happens to be the biggest in Ireland, with 1,500 students. I'm not sure if that's big by UK standards. I think by UK standards, that's one class. in London. To close, I want to give some recommendations of wrestling related things. Firstly, I recently read Jim Smallman's book on the history of pro wrestling. It's fantastic. Secondly, there's a podcast called My Head is Wrecked with Tony Kelly, OTT commentator. One of the episodes with owner Joe Cabray, who was part of the first class at the PC. It's very insightful. Sorry for the long email. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for the time, Finn. So Finn's had a very good lockdown by the sounds of it.
And that is why he just bumped Kate into number 4. Finn, you're in 4th place. Congratulations, friend.
We may have some more of these that we'll do on next week's Raw podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. What a fun little segment that is.
Name? Can we come up with like a...
What you came up with? One? COVID rankings.
COVID rankings feels like it's leaving a lot of puns on the table.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to call people COVIDiots, do you? Like that's because they're being good people.
Yeah. So what we can farm this out to the SWAF Nation. They're a smart bunch.
So that's the best form. That's the best tactic we usually have for these sorts of things.